The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of January 18th, 2021. This is Might Be Sports. I am Taylor Cooper, and with me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Hey, what's going on? Oh my God, it's the NFL playoffs still, and the games weren't that great, but still, I love it.
CJ's here as well. What's up, CJ?
How's it going, guys?
Wow, all three of us. Look at this. You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait for us to all, get back together here in the studio. I've been saying it on all the shows, and I don't want to leave this show out because I really enjoy doing sports in person with you guys. I just, 2021 is going to be a great year. We're all going to be able to get back together. I know this. I can feel it in my heart, and I believe that all of us are going to make it through all of this safe and sound. As you mentioned in the opening, we're going to talk a lot about the NFL playoffs, but before we do, we are sponsored by Eunomia CBD. Go to eunomiacbd.com, use promo code MBN, get 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. It's well worth it, folks. They got this cream that you rub on your muscles when they're sore. It's just fantastic. I've been taking the gel caps of the CBD. It is just phenomenal stuff. Also, make sure you head over to mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. Go there. If you're a huge fan of Might Be Sports, click on Might Be Sports. There's a playlist of all the episodes of Might Be Sports, starting with the first episode where I talk shit on Tom Brady for a while, and, he may or may not be my GOAT this week. We'll see. So let's get into it. NFL playoffs. Week 2 of the NFL playoffs. The games weren't the greatest. Certainly not what we were expecting. I guess we'll start with the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. The Rams and the Packers were the first game on Saturday, right? So let's start with that one instead. Rams-Packers, pretty much exactly what we all figured was going to happen. Packers rolled right over them. The only thing,
or should have figured. I mean, I was high on the Rams defense, and
that was the only thing that really performed.
Going into that game, I thought the weather was going to be worse than it was. My big thing, I thought the Packers had a chance if it was. It was cold out, it was windy, but there wasn't rain, which was considered a possibility in the forecast early on in the week. Then once you take that out of the possibility, if rain is now off the table, then they really had no chance. That was, I think, going to be the equalizer. I think it would have made, if it's windy and cold and rainy, I think that would have forced both teams to run the ball. But instead, Rodgers was just kind of in his groove and in his comfort zone. And with Goff, with the injured thumb, it was just way too much for him. I thought the game would be closer. I thought it'd be low scoring. But again, my kind of, I was way off. I called the under before the game started, but I was under the impression weather was going to be a bigger factor, and it wasn't.
My dad, shout out to my dad if he's listening, is a huge Packers fan, always has been. So whenever the Eagles aren't in the playoffs, I'm a Packers fan. I'm hoping that Aaron Rodgers really, continues to doing what he's doing. We're going to get into the matchup he's got coming up this weekend here in a minute. I'm not impressed with the Rams. I'm not impressed with Goff. I like their defense. That's about it. I like their coach as well, but that's it. I think Goff is the wrong guy for the job out there. That's me personally. Other than that, they have a really good thing going out there. It's just not enough. Now on to the Ravens and Bills. This one was a real big disappointment. I think that obviously Lamar Jackson went down. When did he go down? It was early, wasn't it?
No, I think it was later on in the game. I could pull that up.
I forget.
I know they were down. May have been the third quarter.
Okay.
They were down a significant amount already at that point. They only scored 3 points the whole game.
The whole game, yeah.
But
17-3 was the final. Buffalo over the Ravens. Josh Allen's just nice, man. 23 for 37, 206 yards and a touchdown. You know, I as far as the AFC goes, that's my squad for right now. I know. I mean, I like the Chiefs. I like Mahomes. I like Andy Reid and all that. But I'm really happy for the Bills as far as their success this year. But also, like, they've been so hot and cold over the years. Like, I feel like they either start off really hot and then they fizzle, or they start off cold and then they get hot, but it's just not enough. You know what I mean? They've always been they have the disadvantage of being wiped the floor with by the Patriots for the past decade plus. But now that they're out from under the shadow of New England, at least for now, I'm rooting for the Buffalo Bills. I want to see them do good. They have a really good squad together up there. It seems like their fan base is just phenomenal. Their fan base was going to be my GOAT of the week this week. They raised like $150,000 plus for like one of Lamar Jackson's favorite charities or something like that after the game. It's just phenomenal stuff. And they've done that for Andy Dalton, I think, in the past. And, you know, the Bills Mafia gets a little bit of a bad rep for jumping through folding tables. But realistically speaking, they're very charitable people by the looks of it.
So they're going to have a folding table shortage due to them going into the playoffs.
Are you kidding me?
So if you need a folding table, get it now, because I'm sure they're going to start transferring up to Buffalo.
Well, there was already a shortage on folding tables because of COVID. You know, it was paper towels, toilet paper, folding tables.
I know. Well, you need that extra. You need that extra distance for social distancing.
There you go.
Yeah. Cocktail mustard. I mean, everything went for COVID.
It's a divisional playoff. It's going to be double stack tables.
Double stack.
They're going to go. They're going to go hard. They're going to go through two tables instead of one now.
Imagine if they go through the Super Bowl.
Maybe. Speaking of people getting injured, so Lamar Jackson, I've flip-flopped so much on this guy, and I finally came around and said, Lamar Jackson, it's his time last week, and I said, all right, this style is going to work. Short term, I wrote a column on it last year. Short term totally works. Nothing more short term than playoffs. It's go time. He's a running back playing quarterback. Totally fine if you could figure out a way to make it work in the short term, and then he goes and gets hurt.
Yep.
And, you know, that was always my thing. And I finally allowed myself to believe, okay, he hasn't gotten hurt yet. I don't think he's going to have a long career because he's just going to get beat up too much. Cam Newton's done at the age of like 32, whatever he is right now.
Yeah.
And just completely done, washed up. He's just too beat up, can't play anymore. So what's going to happen long-term with Lamar Jackson? I don't know. But, man, here's the thing. When your quarterback's a running back, he's going to get injuries. These little, ticky-tack injuries like a running back.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to get running back injuries at quarterback. It doesn't work that way. I mean, your quarterback is not supposed to be getting iced up at the end of every game. I mean, what do I know? I never played football, obviously. I've never played any professional sports, although I'd argue like my Mario Kart game is like way up there. Multiplayer. I won every multiplayer race I played today. Just saying, like, as far as regionally going, Mario Kart, I could be ranked in like the Lancaster area. Just putting that out there.
That's impressive.
But on the real field of play, I don't know what it's all about, but I would imagine, guys that were like bruisers, Barry Sanders, I would imagine like one of the reasons why he retired was because he probably felt like shit every week, just getting beat the hell up. Your quarterback can't be going through that and expect to have a long career. So, whatever, it's a freak play. I think I just wonder, is it a freak play if you keep putting yourself in a situation where the freak play becomes more of a possibility? I mean, if these things can happen when you get tackled, well, he's putting himself in a position to get tackled way too often.
Yeah.
His stats were already a little bit down. He threw 10 less touchdowns this year, 3 more interceptions. He's averaging only 184 passing yards per game. The guy who I think does it best, Patrick Mahomes, no argument there. He throws for 316 per game. These guys that do it the right way, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, They're mobile quarterbacks, not running quarterbacks. And that was the distinction I made. So I don't know. Like, it's a legit question, I think. Lamar Jackson, like, can he continue to play this way? Is it going to win? Is it a winning formula for the Ravens?
Yeah.
It's 3 points. It almost makes you forget about the whole first game. I mean, it was a great game, a great win for them. Yeah. But then they come out and score 3 points. And by the way, I looked it up. He was injured at the very end of the third quarter.
Okay.
So it's not like
it was basically a non-factor.
It's not like they only scored 3 points because he wasn't in there to play.
Right.
They went through 3 entire quarters, 3 points scored.
Right.
With their, quote unquote MVP behind center.
I knew it was after halftime. I just couldn't remember exactly when it was. And it was, like you said, it's a non-factor because of when it was. And they weren't doing shit to begin with. And being that it's a concussion, that's what the injury is. I'm less inclined to agree with the obviously your rationale is sound, right? If you're a running quarterback and you're putting yourself in harm's way, you're just more likely to get hurt. That's just, it's not rocket science. The problem is that, being that it's a concussion and stuff, that could happen anytime in football. It's really a shame, and that's why they're trying to get away with these helmet-to-helmet collisions. The next game that we're going to talk about was the Chiefs versus the Browns, where Patrick Mahomes is also injured in that game with a concussion. And what was his replacement's name?
Chad Henne. Yeah.
Chad Henne. I saw one play from him where he's running. He actually made a really nice play, but then he basically dove head first, and it's like, you hate to see that shit because it's just like, all right, you're gonna get hurt, number one, but you're gonna get a guy on defense probably fined or something for hitting you in the fucking head, and you're leading with your head.
I'm okay with that. Like, when I wrote that column about the short-term viability of a running quarterback, that's what I wanted. If I'm running an NFL team, whatever I have as my starting quarterback, I want a running or at least mobile quarterback as my backup, because short term, it's really hard to defend. And with no notice, what are you going to do? You can't game plan on the fly for all of a sudden a guy that's going to run all over the place. It's really, really tough. Yeah. And Henne, and guess what? It's a backup quarterback. You're not going to need him long term. He's a crash test dummy. Just throw him out there.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, okay. I mean, it sounds bad, but you just don't care that much. You're not anticipating you're going to be using him for a very long period of time. And especially with something like this for the Chiefs, like, this is Henne's only shot. I'm sure nobody was thinking that you're going to need Henne long-term for another game. So this is it. Just play this game, get through it any way possible, dive for it, do the Elway helicopter thing into the end zone, whatever it takes, beat yourself up. The team matters more than Chad Henne. So I don't know. Just to speak to that, him getting hurt, same kind of deal as Lamar Jackson. A running play, yeah, again, a fluke thing. The difference is Patrick Mahomes had, I think, 308 rushing yards on the season.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson had 1,000 and change, maybe 1,003, whatever it was. Right. Mahomes just doesn't put himself in that position too often. And I think it was funny. He had a rushing touchdown. And I think that was the first score of the game for the Chiefs. He doesn't do that a lot. He's played 3 full seasons, 2 rushing touchdowns in the regular season each time. That's it. I think people think of Patrick Mahomes as this, running quarterback, but he's not at all. He's a throw first kind of guy. Again, averaging 316 yards per game through the air. And it's because he's a threat to run, but it's certainly not his primary option. And I think that's what makes him the MVP over Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers threw for a ton of touchdowns. And on paper, it might look like, we talked about this last week. He might look like on paper the MVP of the league, but he doesn't give you that double threat. And he only threw for 240 yards per game. It was a little bit smoke and mirrors. They got it done. I wouldn't be surprised next year if Rodgers throws for 25 touchdowns and just reverts back to, kind of losing it. Patrick Mahomes is here. He's the best player in the league. It's like Barry Bonds in his prime. You want to give the award to somebody else, but he's so clearly the MVP. It should just go to him every year. He's LeBron James of the NFL. He's the best. That's it.
Wow.
Now, I think fortunately for the Chiefs, it looks like he's not going to be out very long. I think they were saying it was more of a neck thing than a head thing.
That's going to be my next question. I haven't heard if he's on track to play this weekend, but that's a huge storyline to follow. Quickly, we'll talk real quick. The Chiefs beat the Browns, bringing the Browns seemingly historic, at least on a personal level, season to an end. Good for them. I'm glad they got a playoff win this year. I'm glad they made it to the playoffs. They got a win again against a good Pittsburgh team. They fucked them up pretty good, actually. It was great. So shout out to them.
Well, how about this? Like, if you want me to just, sound like an idiot here and backtrack and flip-flop in real time, I think Baker should be running around more.
Wow.
Because here's the thing. When I say, Lamar Jackson, he runs too much. I'm not saying he should throw the ball more. He's not good at throwing the ball. This is what he does, and that's it. You got to live with it or die with it. And he's been insanely successful. Every time he's played in the NFL over 3 seasons, he's won. He can't lose. I mean, I think he's lost like 6 or 7 games in 3 years. It's insane. So it works in the regular season so far, not in the postseason. Okay. But it's not like I think he can just start throwing the ball and he's going to be good at it. He's not Peyton Manning. Not going to work. Baker Mayfield, kind of the same thing. He can throw the ball okay, but he's not lights out. I think he's always going to be this like 26, 27 touchdowns, 10 to 12 interception guy. He's going to be like an Andy Dalton, I think. But he's got that ability to run, and he just doesn't really use it. I don't think he utilizes it as much because I'm sure he's smart. I'm sure he gets it that when you do that, you get hurt and you won't have a long career. Fine. He might get that part of it. What he doesn't get is that he's not that great at throwing the damn football. So if he can figure out a bigger mix of that, that's the only way he's going to be successful in the NFL, I think, because he's not really throwing the ball all that well. He's got to find a better mix like Josh Allen and just risk it. He might get hurt, but I think that's his only chance if they want to really have a chance to win with Baker Mayfield behind center.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. I mean, they've got a squad. I don't know everybody's contract situation, but the Browns are definitely a team to look at in the near future here, I think. And at least in my opinion, they look like they have it all, everything they need on paper. It's finally starting to mesh well, it looks like, and they had a really good year this year. So shout out to Cleveland Browns. The last game of the weekend was the Dinosaur Bowl. We had the Brady Buccaneers and the Breeze Saints. Buccaneers took the game 30-20 over the Saints, and what could be what kind of looks like Drew Brees' last game as an NFL quarterback. Brady, of course, playoff form, looked great. Let's see, what were his stats? Brady was threw for 199, 2 touchdowns, 18 for 33. Just
doesn't jump off the page.
Jump off the page, but it's exactly what they needed, and that's all. That's what Brady is known for in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Everybody, you hear it every time Brady's in the game. Well, you can't give him the ball with 4 minutes left. You can't give him the ball with 30 seconds left. You can't give him and they're right. You just can't. He figures it out. He makes it work. And if he makes it back to the Super Bowl this year, I can't. Especially if he wins the Super Bowl this year,
it's gonna be awesome.
I can't argue with anybody anymore. I can't.
Well, here he'll have, if he wins the Super Bowl, he'll have one fact that no one else has. It will be the team playing in their home stadium for the Super Bowl.
Oh, right. I hadn't even thought about that. That's crazy.
So, yeah. Who gets the home team? The home stadium? Whoever they play?
Tampa
The
Bay's
Super-
host.
Oh,
Super Bowl.
they're in Tampa this
Yeah.
year. Right.
That's wild. I hadn't thought about that.
Because right now,
Think
what?
about, like, this is the 1 year that will not matter. Because
Right.
how many fans are they going to have? Like,
Zero.
1/3 is going to be filled.
Yeah.
So, those seats, I mean, there's going to be some people from Tampa Bay, but those seats are going to be going for, just from a pure math standpoint, they have to be, 2 to 3 times more expensive than usual.
Right.
Maybe not, the ticket price that might be locked in. I don't know how the Super Bowl works with that, but the secondary market for those is going to be off the charts.
Off the
I would
charts.
imagine
Yeah.
$10,000 for nosebleeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think
going to
if you're
be
lucky.
outrageous. But so it's not going to be a home field advantage. There's going to be 8,000 people there.
He
But
just doesn't have to fly anywhere.
That would be cool.
Peyton Manning's the only quarterback right now that's won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Is that correct?
say that again.
Peyton Manning, isn't he the only quarterback that's won a Super Bowl with 2 teams?
It sounds right. I mean, it could be once we start going back, way back. I'm not as good as I am with baseball with the way back
I'm pretty
football
sure.
history, but it
I
helps.
think he might be the only
having been
starter.
around
I know he's
nearly as long as the history of football. So I'm sure there were guys that won NFL championships with other teams and that kind of thing.
But if Brady does it, I can't argue with people anymore. I just can't. Right now, I can argue that Peyton Manning has 5 MVPs, and that's a personal accolade, and I could just go crazy on
it's
it.
really hard for you to argue that anyway.
Oh, I don't give a shit. I will argue it all day. Tell me how many MVPs Tom Brady has, and I'll tell you that Peyton has 5, and it's ridiculous for anybody to argue with me on personal accolades. But, however, I can't argue if Brady goes and wins a Super Bowl first year down in Tampa. I can't do it. It doesn't matter if they got Antonio Brown, Gronk, and all these other fucking people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he does it, he's the GOAT, and I will never say otherwise. It's just, that's it.
I think with this stat, we'll put him in a different league, but he still has one more goal, and I think that's what he has to play the Patriots and beat them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing on his mind.
I think that's the last thing he's going to do.
I think winning a Super Bowl with the other team, joining Peyton in that is definitely something, because why wouldn't he want to beat everything that he can? That's what he's 43 years old, still in the playoffs. Like, why not? But they beat the Saints. Let's quickly talk about a look forward here. Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. Who do you guys got and why?
I like Tampa Bay. I wasn't a huge believer in the Packers. I'm still not. I wasn't high enough on Aaron Rodgers. I gave him a little bit of shit. Again, I watch him play and I look at the stats and he's not who he was, and people desperately want to keep saying, he's still got it. And you look at guys like Breeze and Brady who are playing into their 40s. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is that guy. I don't think he can be that guy. I know he's not what he used to be. So again, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. He can disappear for games too. Right. I mean, he's had that happen this season, but he had a great game last week. The pretty much domination. And I wonder how much of that was the competition. The Rams just couldn't generate any offense at all whatsoever. So we'll see. I believe Brady has this thing where, he's a 43-year-old dude at quarterback. I don't care who you are, 43 immobile quarterback. But I think him being Tom Brady, there's something about him that raises everybody else's game. It's the only way to explain it.
Yeah.
That this is happening right now, that he's in a conference championship right now, that he can just turn a team around like that. And they weren't that bad to begin with, the Bucs. But it just seems like it's always his destiny to be in this place. He just elevates his teams.
I hate it so much. Craig.
I love it. And it makes no sense. I'm an Eagles fan.
I hate it. I can't
tell people all
stand
the time, I hate the Giants so much. It's sort of like this, connecting web. I hate the Giants so much, and I love the Super Bowl. So, of course I'm watching the Super Bowl. It's one of the best days of the year. Those 2 Super Bowls, Giants, Patriots, I turn myself into a Patriots fan. Like, if I hate a team in the Super Bowl for that day, I'm the biggest fan of that team. It's very rare that there's a game where I don't pick one side clearly. I mean, last year was kind of like that. I wasn't totally on the Chiefs, but the 49ers, it's kind of a milquetoast team, nothing really to root for there. So I was kind of on the fence, didn't care too much. But I became a Patriots fan with those two games. And those losses, nothing cements your fanhood than taking a gut punch loss. And those were two giant gut punch losses. David Tyree with the helmet catch. My God, that hurt so much. It hurt so much. This was 2007. I started a new job, and we had to drive to Jersey and have 1 week of this like work thing. I forget what they called it, but we spend a week in like a hotel in Jersey, and it was like the New York Jersey. So we go there the Monday after the Super Bowl, and everybody's hungover and they're celebrating the Giants win. And it was just, I hated everybody there. It was the worst experience of my life. And it just forced me to be a Patriots fan. So I'm loving it. I want Brady to win one more. It's funny because I don't even think of this as like, it's like 4/5 of a Buccaneers win if they win the Super Bowl. Somehow the extra fifth is like a Patriots win. I don't know how that works. The math doesn't really check out on that, but it just feels that way.
I can't relate.
Brady is the Patriots.
I can't relate to anything you're saying. I can't relate.
I love it so much. I'm going to be rooting hard Buccaneers.
Dude, I hate the Giants, and I was the biggest Giants fan in the room when they were playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I can't stand it. I can't stand the culture of it. I can't stand how good they are, and I should love it because it's excellence, right? I should love it because it's not hard to see that, like, yo, they've really got their shit together, unlike what's going on in Philadelphia right now, and unlike a lot of other fan bases. Like, how could you not envy the New England way? They've been so dominant, but I just can't stand it. CJ, who do you think is going to win between Green Bay and Tampa Bay?
I'm going to say Green Bay. I have nothing to back it up. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I'm going to say Green Bay because I think that Lambeau in January is going to make Tom Brady's 43-year-old bones feel like plaster of Paris. The shit is going to be – he's just going to crumble out there.
There's something to that.
I really do. I think, and obviously he's played in New England in the winter a bunch of times. You really, obviously he's got experience, but there's something
to Brett Favre,
something a whole lot more different about Lambeau than Foxborough this time of year. Next game, I'm trying to get you out of here on time, Reevy. Bills going to be Bills versus Chiefs. Who do you got and why?
Oh man, I don't think the Chiefs. Again, like I said last week, when I kind of picked the Browns, I may have picked the Browns. I know I did before the game started. I just went on a ledge and I was wrong. But still, I don't think the Chiefs are as dominant as people think they are. I think the stat was the last 7 wins of the season, regular season, the average margin of victory for them was less than 5 points, right around 5 points. So they're just barely getting by on these wins. And I think it's a little bit what we saw with the Steelers when they eventually fell apart. They were just sort of hanging on. So are we seeing the end of the Chiefs? Are they hanging on by a fingernail? Or are they hanging on, they have a pretty good grip on that ledge? They only got to win 2 more games. I don't know. But the Bills seem strong, like very, very strong. Like they're just coming into their own. So if you can forget the moment, I'm not a big moment guy, like experience, blah, blah, blah. It seems to me clearly, if you can put that aside, that the Bills have a major edge. So if you can forget the fact that the Chiefs are defending champs and they've been there, I think it's clearly Bills. And I know that Vegas disagrees with me, but that's where I got it.
CJ, what do you think?
I don't want to see the Bills win because I respect folding tables too much. I don't want to see the shortage happen, so I'm going Chiefs.
My gut is telling me Bills. I feel like if it was any other year, and Arrowhead Stadium was jam-packed with people. It's the loudest stadium on the planet Earth. I think that would be a factor. Because they're not going to be there, it's not going to be a factor. Another thing is that, like you said, Reeve, they are hot, and they're hot at the right time, and there is a fundamental way that playoffs go in any sport. If you get hot at the right time, that can carry you through, and all the way to the end. You see it in baseball a lot. You see it in basketball a lot, especially in these more so. I feel like you see it more so in sports where you have playoff series, but in the NFL, it's the same deal. If you get hot at the right time, it can carry you all the way through the playoffs. It happened to the Eagles the year that they won the Super Bowl. So I think that what you're seeing right now at the Buffalo Bills is pretty much the same type deal. I feel like everybody in that locker room is on the same page that they're not going home this week. And I think that they're going to win it. And I honestly think they have a really good chance of winning it all because of that. Let's go to the week and get out of here.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. I don't have a clear-cut go to the week this week. It was a tough decision to make. I said earlier in the show that the Bills Mafia was up there for me this week, and really it comes down to two players, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. It was the game that everybody wanted, and this coming week is going to be another one of those games where it's Brady versus Rodgers. The quarterback versus quarterback thing has always been fascinating to watch, and Brees versus Brady, those are just two legendary quarterbacks. And if this is in fact Drew Brees' last season, he is among the best of them. And one of the things that really kind of caught my eye the following morning when I get on social media, I see video of Drew Brees, his kids, meeting up with Tom Brady after the game on the field. Everybody's in plain clothes, and Brady's throwing touchdown passes to Drew Brees' kids. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. That level of sportsmanship, that level of respect, not only for each other but to the game of football. It's admirable. I mean, these guys are two of the best that we will ever see play a sport. Not just quarterbacks, but just two of the best athletes that we will ever see. And to see them kind of bond like that after such a good playoff game was it's refreshing in 2021. And in this day and age, to just kind of see that level of camaraderie and respect for each other and respect to the game. So Drew Brees and Tom Brady are my goats of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another quarterback. Just talked about him, Patrick Mahomes. Just because, he put the team in a position where it didn't matter that he was out for a significant period of time. He still threw for 255, threw a touchdown, ran for one more, no picks. I mean, I don't think anybody believes the Browns would have had a chance if Mahomes is still in the game. So he did enough and pretty much dominated enough. Didn't have the greatest game, but dominated enough so that you could take him out of the game and they still have enough of a cushion. They still have enough to get by. And they got by, won the game. Looks like he's in good position going forward. Again, he's the best player in the NFL. He's the NFL's LeBron James. And I wonder if him running for that touchdown, if that's a little bit of a signifier of a signifier. Is signifier a word?
It is right now.
It should be.
Because I follow.
I mean, it works. I'm okay with making up words if everybody's on the same page with understanding.
Well, you just have to make sure people understand it and you're confident when you deliver it, and then no one knows.
So then don't say, is that a word after saying it? That was probably the big mistake.
That's rule number one.
Well, that's how you learn, by making mistakes. We're getting better as we go, guys. Anyway,
confidence is key.
So it's a two-sided coin here. Maybe Mahomes is thinking, let's do this. We got another shot at it. Back-to-back Super Bowls is a big deal. If I got to run more and risk it, fine. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Or maybe because he just got knocked out of the game, it's like, all right, forget that. Let's go back to the way I play and, dominate. But maybe I'm reading way too much into one rushing touchdown. But shoot, if he adds that to his game and runs a little bit more, like we said, short term, he could be. Doesn't matter who they play, they're going to win.
Yeah. CJ, real quick before we get out of here, Patrick Mahomes, real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I deserve that. Okay,
you do deserve that. You do. CJ, real quick before we get out of here, Novak's house. Plug that for a second, real quick, before we go. Where can people find out more information on Novak's house? I saw that you guys had some T-shirts and hoodies and stuff.
Yeah. They teamed up to do scholarships for, selling limited edition T-shirts. But Novak's house is a halfway house that Novak and Greek partnered in, and it's a male halfway house, and they're currently looking for. They have some people there. There's room for more. There is a link to it on Novak's website to get information on Novak's house. Okay. And then if you go to his social media, you can see the link for the shirts.
For the scholarships and stuff.
Yeah, limited edition shirts that go towards scholarship funds.
Very cool. Very cool. Everybody, thank you guys so much for...
Novak's my goat of the week.
CJ is my go to the week all the time. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Kevin Reevy, thank you so much, man. CJ, great job as always. It's good to see you, man. I miss you, dude. I can't wait to be back in studio with you guys. It's coming soon. I swear to God. Go to nbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. Check out an all new Might Be Tunes on Friday. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.